You certainly know how to get attention, and you certainly got my attention when I saw this partnership that you have with SoFi. And I should point out, you've had a partnership with them for some time, but I guess a little bit more formalized. Talk a little bit about exactly what type of content or advice, if you will, you think some of these folks need.
I think the basics are oftentimes overlooked. It's making sure that your savings are working incredibly hard for you in a high yield savings account. It's about managing your debt in a strategic and efficient way so that you can pay as little interest as possible while getting your debt paid down in the shortest possible time window. It's potentially refinancing a mortgage or refinancing your student loans. And it's even just talking to a certified financial planner and getting insights into your own financial statistics. And what's really wonderful, and a part of the reason why I'm so proud to be the chief of financial empowerment, is that SoFi helps their users do all of these things.
Well, it gets to this idea, too. I mean, when we talk about a generation setting themselves up for the long term, and we obviously know the importance of investing and compound interest. But of course, there's also the idea of making sure that you keep your debt levels low, if at all, if you have the options to do that here. But of course, Vivian, there are a lot of people that end up in debt kind of not necessarily through a fault of their own. They go to school, they get saddled up with a lot of student loan debt, and they don't really think about it or know about the long-term burden that might have on them. What's the message to those people?
I think the message is that debt is not morally good or bad. You are not a failure. You are not a terrible person because you have debt. And I think that's in part something that I've been working through in my content, is to educate so many people and let them understand that, yes, you may not have gotten this education years ago when you should have, but I'm here to give it to you today. And no matter where you start, you can always end better than you are. And it is so important for all of us, really, to make sure that we are as financially literate as we can be.
I'm curious about the generational differences. You obviously speak, you are, I believe, amongst the Gen Z generation. You speak to that generation. And I'm curious as to how you think their view of the world of finance, and more importantly, their view of the opportunities in finance, maybe differ from Gen X and millennials when they sort of got to adulthood.
You are absolutely too kind. I am a millennial.
Oh,
However,
sorry. Okay.
No, not at all. Please keep spreading that rumor. But, I think Gen Z is under a lot of strain, right? They are old enough to have lived through the '08 housing crisis. They are old enough to remember 2016. They're old enough to have been through COVID. They went to Zoom school, then graduated into one of the toughest job finding environments on earth. And now they're starting to feel like this story that they've been peddled, that you can have a happy white picket fence home and go on vacation twice a year and still retire, has been kind of a lie this entire time. And the frustration, I think, comes from the fact that they watched their grandparents and their parents, and even just the generation above them, kind of play by those rules and be able to win at life. But now the rules have very much changed. You have to invest. If you're not investing, you will not make it. You will not get to retire unless you are an incredibly high net worth earner. But also, even then, it's still going to be hard. And I think we just have to make sure that as the times are changing, the education that we are giving these young people shifts as well, because they're not going to respond to the same, you have to eat rice and beans, no avocado toast for you, that maybe worked for my parents' generation.
Well, it's kind of interesting, too. I mean, your last book, your Rich AF, you really kind of, I think, cut through that, and you hit on a lot of those topics. Make a bridge from that to your new book, which I don't think comes out until February, Well Endowed. I mean, what's the difference? What's the story there that is materially different from Rich AF?
Yeah, Rich AF was all about building that financial foundation. I wanted folks to be comfortable negotiating for more pay, so making sure that there's more coming in the door, budgeting, saving, investing, understanding how debt and taxes work. Those were the basic foundation. You have to be able to build your home on concrete, not quicksand. But for Well Endowed, it's kind of this reshaping of your mindset of, okay, so now that you are in a position where you do understand how the mechanics work, what is actually going to give you the life that you want? Is it that lime green Lamborghini? Personally, I don't think so. I think it's really important to understand consumerism. In Well Endowed, I teach people how to figure out how to afford a home, a car, even in this economy where it feels so challenging, how to buy insurance, how to talk about money with a spouse, with your family, with your friends, how to really figure out your retirement number, how to set your kids up for financial success, and even how to build generational wealth through estate planning, which frankly, the upper echelon of society has been doing for generations already, but the rest of us haven't gotten the education on. So I'm going to teach people how to use trusts and wills and power of attorney to make sure that they get exactly what they want in this life and the next.
Well, it gets to this idea, too. And I mean, we have had publicly, there's been a little bit more of a public discourse about the importance of getting people to invest earlier. I mean, just earlier this week, you had Michael Dell making a commitment to seed effectively $250. Not a lot, but it's something. Obviously, there's a government initiative that might get off the ground as well here. When we start to talk about the Generational Wealth Fund initiative that you're going to be a part of starting next year, how does that fit in? I mean, we're talking about basically trying to get to people basically from the crib, or are we going to get to them when they're 18, 19 adults?
Yeah, absolutely. SoFi's Generational Wealth Fund initiative is something that I am so proud to be a part of. And honestly, the facet of my partnership with them that I'm probably most excited about, while I can't give you exact details how we will be enacting my partnership with them through the GWFI, we have seen in the past Jason Tatum supporting first-time homebuyers in St. Louis, Kelsey Ballerini supporting schools in Nashville, Tennessee. So just keep in mind, it'll be something similar along those lines, supporting a cause that I really care about in a community that, has my heart.
Just tell me, Vivian, I'm going to put you on the spot here, but like, what's one of the biggest mistakes? Like, I'm sure a lot of people come up to you and ask you for advice. What's one of the biggest, most common financial mistakes that you see people make?
Right now, if we can be timely, I think it's conflating the prediction market with the stock market. Listen, I have seen so many headlines going out about how, you can now place a wager, a trade on how many times this word will be said in a public speech, or who will become the next football coach at this university, or who will become the mayor in whatever city. I cannot stress this enough. That is not investing, that is gambling. I find it to be incredibly irresponsible, some of the language being used around prediction markets. And I think if you are conflating gambling and investing, you're going to have a bad time. You're not going to be able to get the results that you want. There is something to be said about a very unsexy strategy of being a buy and hold investor, having a diversified portfolio that is adjusted based on your risk tolerance. It's certainly not wagering your paycheck on who's going to be the next, basketball coach wherever. I think just this leaning in to this new mindset of go big or go home, it's not going to serve the vast majority of people.